One of the foundational texts is a text from a couple hundred years BC called The Yellow Emperor, the Canon of the Yellow Emperor. And in it, it states that women go through a new developmental stage every 7 years.
Oh,
So
wow.
0 to 7, 7 to 14, 14 to 21. So when I think about this in midlife, I really have to start at age 35, which a lot of 35-year-olds will go like, no way, I am not in midlife. I'm a young person.
Mhm.
And I understand. When I look back on it, I started to notice these changes in my mid 30s. I was starting to work with interns in an office situation who thought of me as their mom's
Oh,
age.
wow.
I was like, wait a second, I'm 35. It was such a shock to me that
Mhm.
there was a completely adult looking person who thought I was the older generation. I was like, whoa. And
Wow.
that to me is like the beginning of midlife. But age 35 to 42 would be that first stage, and it's really a waning fertility stage for women and can be more difficult to get pregnant, but it's not as easy as in age 21 to 28, which is considered the height of your fertility, age 28 to 35, a little less, and then age 35 to 42 is, yeah, you sure you can still get pregnant, but it's less. And you start to notice things like a little bit less digestive ease and so on. And then the next stage is age 42 to 49. You still can get pregnant in that age, but much less likely. And so you're really thinking about like, what does it mean to you to have your fertility wane? That's a really significant thing, whether you have children or not. You do notice it, and it is like a meaningful passage. And it's certainly in that age period, you often have symptoms of perimenopause, changes in your menstrual cycle, maybe heavy bleeding, maybe lack of your period, maybe hot flashes and night sweats, insomnia, more digestive issues, and so on. Then you start really grappling with the issue of aging. In The Yellow Emperor, they end everything at age 49. I've added my own interpretation onto that, continuing that 7 years, because that's just obviously not true. We don't end our lives, we go on and on. Age 49 to 56 would be an age where this whole issue around when your periods stop is going to get resolved in that age period, because mostly by age 56 period, women have had a year without menstruation and are officially postmenopausal. So you're transitioning right into the postmenopausal phase. I do think that the other things come into play, changes in your relationships, changes in your job situation as your perspective is changing. And then I feel like age 56 to 63 is kind of like a very much of an integration of all that, because at age 56 you've probably been postmenopausal a few years, going into your early 60s. You're really integrating all the changes and and really seeing where you've come from and setting yourself up for an elderhood. And maybe you can even think of yourself as a baby elder in this period. And being an elder is often relative to who you're hanging out with. If you're hanging out with 20 and 30 years old people, yeah, they think of you as an elder. If you're hanging out with people in their 40s and 50s, they're like, no, you're not my elder. You have to wait till you're in your 70s and 80s for that. So it's all relative. As soon as I was postmenopausal, I felt in some way an elder because I felt so different, but I wasn't perceived that way by except the youngest people around me. I really feel like elderhood is starting in this age. So that's what I think of as the span of midlife. And obviously it's not set in stone or anything, but it's an interesting way to think of it.